G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's Anzac weekend, it's Sunday, had a couple days off work after my 3-day week, which was after my 11 days off. So nice and relaxed. Got the BA at work still. Running through some issues on the dyno video. Something popped up when I was editing the video, which I didn't actually notice all day on the dyno. So a little bit disappointed in myself for not noticing that. But having said that, everything was tracking normally. Nothing was indicating a problem. So there would have just been one little piece of data I'd have to look at, which, I mean, most cars I tune don't even have this sensor. So I wasn't really too focused on it. You may have noticed it in the video, you may not have. So if you did notice, yes, fuel pressure very low. Well, not very low, 60 PSI at the end of a pull. Should have been about 100 PSI with how it was set up. When I got the car, when I first inspected it, I basically agreed to buy it, went and looked at it, handed over the money at Precision Performance down in the south side somewhere. Anyway, Jamison, he hooked me up with the car. Anyway, he said, hey, look, there's something weird going on with the fuel pressure. When it's running, it's like 550 kPa. I did touch on this in the video and I did try and adjust it. And after that, it would pull vacuum. So if you pull the hose off, the reference off, the pressure will be like 600 kPa. Put the hose on, 550. I was like, sweet, whatever. Just never looked at it again. Turns out the pressure wasn't rising with boost. So someone must have already tuned this before, because I didn't put a whole heap into the base fuel table. As we were going into boost up to 30 pounds, you know, a few percent here, a few percent there. Wasn't making huge changes. Didn't really think anything of it. Was trimming within 5% at all times. So never really looked at pressure, but wasn't until I put all the videos into the timeline to send to Kester, I saw obviously a alarming problem that at the end of a pull, 7,000 RPM, 66 PSI fuel pressure, 100 PSI expected. Obviously, fuel pressure's not climbing. So over the last week or so, just here and there after work, I've done a little bit of digging and a little bit of fixing. I'm pretty sure I've fixed it now. Haven't actually tested it on the street or on the dyno or anything like that, but I have sort of bench tested it. Some of the footage, I'm obviously not using the microphone, it's just footage I've taken here and there. I've tried to do as best I could, but the footage may not be the greatest. So I will add some more stuff to this video today, which is why I'm at work today. So basically, I bought a fuel reg, thinking, oh, the reg's, let's just throw a reg at 200 bucks. Put a Turbo Smart one in it, go from there. Put that in, same deal. Trying to set base fuel pressure. I mean, I filmed like 19 minutes of me trying to set it. I had Kieran helping and everyone at work sort of yapping and carrying on. At the end of the day, I was just getting really frustrated with it, couldn't work it out. Went home, threw it in the old group chat, a couple of people piped up with a few ideas. The consensus was basically, someone's obviously fit a big pump in tank and that's overpowering the reg. At the time, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so we got too much pressure in the surge tank. All that's really gonna do is just make the pressure run away, you know? But it turns out what that causes is where the fuel rail and reg is returning back to the surge, because the surge is pressurized, that reg can't work properly. The valve in it can't move. So what you get is a fuel reg should be able to adjust like 35 to 80 PSI base pressure. And then, you know, 120 PSI total on top of that with boost reference. When I would put a mighty back on it and apply boost, nothing would change. When I was trying to adjust it, I had a 63 to 73 PSI window. I'm like, man, something's really wrong here. Anyway, so pulled the in-tank pump out. It was a 460 without drilling the stock Venturi. So straight away, obviously got rid of that. Put the stock pump out of the gray car into the black car, tested it, full adjustment window, applied some mighty vac pressure on it, brought it up 20 PSI, got 20 PSI. Not really sure how this video is going to get edited because I've got some random clips. I'm not sure how much I explain, so I'm just going through the full story now. So yeah, once I had it like that, it's all good. Set base pressure to 4 bar, 58 PSI with the hose off. Reset the base pressure in the tune. Haven't had a chance to drive the car yet. I don't have the plates yet. It is in my name now, so I can go pick up the plates. And the valve is off it, so I was just going to put the valve back on it and go for some street driving later. But today we're going to start unraveling some of these electrical gremlins. Not really gremlins, there's just wires all over the place that don't really seem to go anywhere or do anything. Going to pull out all the gauges and stuff. I have got a new dash triangle coming off eBay, 20 bucks. see if it fits, see if it doesn't look too out of place. If not, perfect. Ditch that e-boost, ditch that oil pressure gauge, it doesn't even work. Pull out some of the wiring and random hoses and stuff that are in the bay. Just neaten it up a little bit. Make it easier to figure out what's going on. I have got a IC7 on the way. Hopefully that arrives on Monday. Can go pick that up and probably get that fitted the weekend after. So then I'll at least be able to keep an eye on data a little bit easier while driving it. So if this had a dash, I would have noticed that fuel pressure straight away. Like while on the dyno, I would have been looking at the dash and whatever, but because I was only so focused on what I was trying to achieve, like setting the boost and stuff like that, and just trimming the base fuel table, I wasn't looking at everything. Obviously Haltech, as I've said many times, is fairly new to me still. So yeah, obviously something real simple to miss, but something that's pretty critical. The only thing I think that saved me on that was the fact that it's got 2400cc injectors. It wasn't using, you know, more than 60% duty cycle or something like that. So it was someone's baked in a correction by adding a shitload to the base table to compensate for the fact that there's no pressure there. So anyway, we'll get stuck into today's activities, which is ripping out all that wiring and stuff, and yeah, we'll see how this video ends up. Just one thing left I've been wanting to do since I got the car. I just want to see if I can do it the magical YouTube way, which is that's better. Fucking hate branding on cars. So yeah, it's just the airflow one. It's just on backwards, so. But the lines aren't long enough to run them at the front. They're sort of supposed to go at the front of this, but there's not enough length in them, so they run at the back, but they clear the belt, so everything's all good. Also, went to BCF, got myself a quad lock case for my phone, so don't have to mount it with zip ties, so should be a little bit better quality. So obviously I can see what's going on with the screen and not touch and focus on the wrong thing while I'm trying to put the thing in past the zip ties and shit. Let's rip into it. Step 1, start snipping wires. Step 2, see what turns off. So one other thing I'm doing today as well is this window switch is fallen in, like, so eBay to the rescue. New window switch, light up this one. So that one probably is already an eBay one, but anyway, got another one. So we'll swap that over as well. Do also need to order a bonnet cable, so that will be coming probably during the week. I'll grab one from Ford. I've tried the aftermarket ones in the grade BA, they're not that great. They're like 30 bucks, whereas a genuine one's like 50 or 80 or something. So I'll just go genuine, they just seem to be a bit stronger. They feel a lot better. Alrighty, got the camera somewhat propped up on me, but give that a bit of a pry out. That's all fucked and broken, so pretty simple. I think I showed this on the grey VA, the grey BA as well. Just got to pry that out and whack the new one in. There we go. Put the ignition on. Then put the lights on. Alright, so it does light up. And it does work, so bloody beautiful. It was like 30 bucks or something, so you gotta love eBay. All right, so next things on the tackle list is get rid of this oil pressure gauge. I have got, like I said earlier, I have got a new triangle coming. Also delete this e-boost and whatever else I find down in here. There does seem to be a auxiliary input. This looks like some kind of wiring for the e-boost. It looks like e-boost size wires, so anyway, this is pretty gross under here. So yeah, just try and make that as neat as possible. And then I will mount the keypad here at some point, down here somewhere. Probably just cover where that Turbo 400 shifter goes. Just make that little bit neater. I've also got a shift boot probably coming, which I'll try and make that look a little bit neater. Only thing I'm worried about is that once it's got a boot, you won't be able to see the positions. So I might have to just put a little sticker on the side or something. I'm not sure how legal that is without the markings. Yeah, not really sure on that, on the legalities of those things, because I don't really follow the rules usually, so I don't really know what they are. So anyway, I'll start yanking this out. It's gonna be hard to film and do it at the same time, so a lot of this will just be just showing what I've done after the fact. I think will probably be easier. All right, so just unplug that gauge and then unplug this e-boost I just had a little vac line going into that rubber line there. So then I'll rip this tissue box holder and stuff out, see what this wiring looks like. Looks a bit gross. So that trim just clips off, and then to undo these side panels, like these things, it's literally just one screw here. Undo them and they flick out. Then to get the tissue box holder out is screws on top, which is all broken, so none of that applies. Just pull that out. And then that's just the cigarette lighter plug there, you can undo and then ditch all that. Now's also a great time to get the vacuum out and vacuum up all that feral shit. Good to see this is a B&M shifter, not a Airflow China copy. I'm sure B&M's probably also Chinese, but anyway. All right, so next step for me will be getting under this dash and just making a sense of what's going on under here. There's like all sorts of loose wires and just grossness, so that'll probably be a little tricky to try and put on camera because I won't fit under there with the camera at the same time, but I'll do my best to show as things come apart. All right, so some of this goes to the boot. These two wires I've traced and found them in the boot, so I'm just going to start pulling them back through because I don't know what was in the boot, maybe an amp or something, maybe nitrous, who knows. Either way, it doesn't have nitrous now, so they're going. Pull out this rear kick trim, scuff plate, sorry, so I can get this wiring through. It's got zip ties or something holding it. Yeah, just zip tied there. Probably could have got that with that trim still on, but now I can definitely get it good. All right, that'll pull through now. Just remembering how annoying these are. To get that trim out properly, you have to pull the seatbelt out, so I'll get that seatbelt bolt out and get that trim all the way out, just so it's completely out of the way. All right, trim gone. Bit of a blessing and a curse trying to do things the right way, but you know, it is what it is. So let's tackle this wiring now. So some of this is for the trans brake. These relays up here are for the trans brake, I believe. So we'll be leaving those. I'm going to just start pulling like this out. That's that wire from the boot. I'll pull that out through the engine bay now. Tell me if it moves. Alright, looks like I got it. So obviously she was moving. Now I can't see this one in the engine bay, so I suspect it goes somewhere else. Alright, so not sure how good this camera angle is, but we're going to start top down again and we're going to pull the ICC out and see what's going on with the top gauge wiring first. Alright, ICC is just the 4 8mm bolts and the 1 Phillips head at the top, I believe is all it is. I can't remember, I haven't done an ICC and a BA in 10 years. And you just jiggle them out. I think there's wires underneath you're going to unplug, but cross that bridge as we get to it. Yeah, alright, let's move this crap out of the way. Yeah, alright, let's undo these plugs. Number 3 out. Alright, ICC coming out. ICC out. Keep these upright. I was always told, if you turn them over, they die. True or not, don't know. Just keep it upright and then you don't have to find out. Obviously, when you put everything back together, you just got to be real careful of that connector. You got to make sure it's not going to push into the dash and disappear. You got all these connectors down here that I was undoing. If you couldn't see them in the video, there's 4 of them and an antenna. The thing I was umming and ahhing about a little bit was this auxiliary input. Now, I don't even have a phone that has an auxiliary input, so I'm just going to get rid of it as well. It's just one less wire to be hanging under the dash, getting in the way. So it's going to go. If anyone wants it, reach out. You can have it for free. I'll disconnect it at the other end properly. All right, not what I was really expecting to see, but this wire will probably be the dimmer or something for the boost gauge. They've wired it up to the traction control and to the fog lights or something. So I'm just gonna delete all that. Well, there we go, guys. That's why you don't solder in automotive. You crimp. For everyone that goes, I solder everything and it's fine. Well, that solder is fucking shit, and it's obviously broken the wires because it's been brittle. Whereas if you crimp it, it's no longer brittle. Soldering has its place, automotive is not it. So that's gonna get re-crimped and reconnected. That's just for the fog lights, but obviously they probably don't work. I haven't actually tested them, but yeah, so I'll crimp that connection back on and then that is fixed. So I've just pulled the wires down for the gauge and for the e-boost stuff. That was this twin core setup. That was all the e-boost stuff. Goes up here to here. Now I'm not sure what this is. It actually goes up to the roof lining. It might be for the sunroof. It could be, like, I mean, doesn't really look very professional. Could have been fitted aftermarket. So I'm just gonna snip this one back and leave this rest of this just for now, just because I don't know 100% where it goes. When we get to it, oh yeah, nice. E-boost just twisted in. No soldering or anything. Obviously, you don't want soldering, but you'd at least want more than just the old twist and tape. Same as whatever that white wire was. That was for the oil pressure gauge. All right, e-boost is coming out. That is the last of the e-boost, I believe. Now this one, all right, so that's the power for one of the gauges. Looking where that fuse is coming from. Directly onto that 15 amp. Let's put the 20 amp back in. At least someone's used an adapter fuse. Put that back. And the earth up here is just screwed into the fuse box. Earth is just screwed in there, so I'll undo that earth. Oil pressure gauge, that's the last of that. So that's the last of the wiring that goes to the behind the head unit. It's all pulled out now. All that shit was in behind the head unit basically. It's my pile of garbage. Now this one single wire that went to the boot is still going somewhere. I just don't know what the hell it's for. So there's also a really weird plug here. It looks like a big injector plug. That, no idea what that is for. It almost looks factory. Oh, it could be for the clutch switch actually. This was a manual car. It does look like factory wiring into the back of it, so it might be for the clutch position sensor. All right, I'm just gonna snip this zip tie here. Hopefully once that all falls down, it starts making sense. All right, well that was my wire from the boat. Goes to nothing. Good God, I think that just goes to the engine bay to the battery. And then whatever the hell that is, that goes to there. Another power source for something. Goes into a factory wire there. So that'll get deleted. Alright, so another wire seems to go nowhere is this. It's an earth for something. It literally just goes to that point there, behind that. Bit hard to see it. Literally just earths here and goes nowhere. So it's getting deleted. Gone. Starting to make sense of everything. Still no idea what this was for. This is all trans brake, I believe, so that can stay. Would have thought whoever did it would have used the adapter fuses or something, but I don't really understand how the trans brake works, so I'm not gonna get into that just yet. But this wire can go because I think it's just teed in under here. All right, so that's the end of the RCA cable that just unplugged from under the dash. That got yeeted. Only thing really left now is just this twin core, and then whatever this stuff is for the trans brake. So just that twin core there. So I'm gonna go to the engine bay and start yanking it. Let me know if it moves. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks, really helpful. Now, also, what is a dash job without a little bit of carnage? Oh, absolutely KO'd my thumb. So anyway, pretty happy with progress because all that shit's been deleted. Plus now this twin core that we're under the boot, and then this other twin core, which was for the gauges or something, so that can all come out now. One less thing to melt to the dump and cause a bloody fire. 12 volt direct short to the dump. Alright, so let's get rid of the rest of this twin core stuff. Just move this overflow bottle so we can get to all the zip ties and get it out of here. Get rid of this. That was holding one of the boost hoses. That can go. The e-boost. Snip these two zip ties. They can go. Zip tied again here. That can go. Alright, so just tracing all of this now. It's a bit messy, but this smaller one went to this circuit breaker here. The larger one went to this big fuse here. So I'll start deleting those because we're going to delete that. So obviously I've just snipped the other end of it the other day. So just undo the two tech screws, remove that circuit breaker. Always makes me wonder when people just tech screw things to the side of the fuse box, if they ever considered what they might be screwing into on the inside of the fuse box, but we'll find out if something starts working that didn't used to. Alrighty, go on skis. That is so much neater. Now we've just got obviously a boost solenoid there. That can stay. Put the overflow tank back. Secure that properly later. I'll just loosen off the battery terminals and pull those snipped off ring terminals out of there. Battery will be getting relocated at some point when I buy a new intercooler. I am probably going to go Process West Stage 3. But it's going to stay here for now because it works. I'd love to know what these two wires were for. That was for the wire that went to the boat. That was for the wire that went under the dash. Gone. And whatever that one is can stay there for now. They might be the earths for the fuel pumps. Though they do look pretty feral, so they might not be. Alright, remove both of those. Put the bolt back in. Do the nut up. Beautiful. Alright, done. So I've deleted everything I wanted to delete today. It's a lot neater. Still want to know what these two earths are. I think they're the fuel pump earths though. Possibly the earths for the fans or something for the relay. Because I think this relay here is for the fans and those are for the fuel pumps. So I'm just going to put the interior back together. I'll probably do that off camera. Then I'll tape over all those exposed wires. I have snipped wires that teed off just to keep everything a little bit safer. And that'll do us for today. So I consolidated the two piles. So that's everything that came out of the car today. Plus the gauges and shit. And then that's the auxiliary in if anyone wants that. Like I said, comment below, first person to comment, I'll post it to you. Or give it to you in person if it's someone I know. Anyway, give this a bit of a vacuum, get all the leaves and shit out of it. We'll give the in the dash a good vacuum now. See, it was pretty feral. Then I'll, obviously once I put it all back together, I'll vacuum out the carpets and stuff too, because they were pretty dusty. So obviously this is what I'm talking about here. It's just leaves and dust and shit everywhere. So I give that a good good vacuuming and see a bit of a before and after, see what that turns out like. I know this is just nothing content, but some of this shit is real satisfying to watch. I know when I watch other people do like rebuilds and stuff, just watching them even just vacuum out the car and just the changes in that is just like satisfying to watch. So that's why I'm including all this sort of stuff. I know some people out there are a bit like me and they're a bit autistic and love watching this sort of stuff, but if you're not, click on, who cares, whatever. Alright, so that looks a whole lot better. All the leaves and junk out of there. I'll put that rubber trim back in and start fitting up this ICC back in. So now obviously the reason you've got to unplug these is because they can't come past here. So you stick the ICC all the way back in and plug them in left to right, I believe. You like this one, this one, this one, and then this one. I think. I don't know, it may not matter. We were always told, I think, left to right when I worked at Ford, but whether that matters or not, who knows. Let's put this head unit back in. Now you want to gently push her in, and it should feel like that plug's clicking in. Just connect the lower connectors and then turn the key on, make sure it actually is plugged in. Alright, so if we go ignition on, say code, turn off. Looks like everything's working. Fan's working. Beautiful. Make sure it lights up. Yeah. Sweet. Perfect. Alright, top screw done up. The 4 side bolts done up. ICC secured. Just chuck the tissue box holder in, then the side trims, and then that's all buttoned up. There we go, guys. So this wiring here is for the sunroof. It's pretty gross, but it can stay for now because I've just pulled out just that one fuse here, and now the sunroof doesn't work. I'll put that fuse back in and then show that the sunroof works again. All right, so second fuse back in. Now the sunroof works. So obviously, whoever wired it didn't do the neatest job. I'll just do my best to sort of neaten that up a little bit. Okay, so I've got to just tape up this black wire. It's just got a bit of solder on it, and then just got to reconnect this brown wire, and then that's all done. I'll generally try and do an open barrel splice here, but it's on the wrong side of the steering wheel. It's actually really kind of hard to get to. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a butt connector. It's a heat shrink type, like a glue-on heat shrink, dual wall heat shrink type, so it should have protected pretty well as well. So it'll do for this, because these wires are a little bit tight, like it's missing a bit, so it's better than having to like really strain it and do an open barrel splice. I've also just trimmed the heat shrink down a little bit so it'll go on all the way and be able to work still without not going in all the way. Okay, final result. Came out not too bad. Just hit it with the heat gun now and shrink that. She's battery operated, so she takes a minute. Just get my quick squeeze just to squish the glue. Beautiful. That'll hold now. That'll be beautiful. I couldn't remember which plug was which, but then I remembered it's Ford. It's for idiots. The green plug has the green sticker. But also it was the power wire off the fog light and the earth off the traction control that they'd used. So that was how I remembered that. All right, so basically that's the brake, that's the clutch switch, that's staying. That's all trans brake stuff, that can stay. This is for the sunroof. So I'll just tape those back up so that they're shielded and they can get tucked up a little bit neater. That's about it for this thing. So I put all the trims back on and give it a good vacuum. Just using cloth tape on these. Just sticks a lot better than the electrical tape. Tuck it all away. Done.
Slap. Slap.
Right, so got that trim back in. Some of these clips up front were broken, but it does locate right there. So that'll hold it pretty good. All right, so getting all these trims back in, I'll just give this back seat a good vac. Alrighty, so all back together. All the trims are in. Back trims are all in. Just gonna put the seat in. Fuel pump's all buttoned up. Just put the seat in and button her all up. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that. So at least we got somewhere today. Got the fuel system all pretty much dialed over the week during the week. Got all that wiring yanked out today, everything put back together, everything cleaned. So got a good base to build off. Yeah, only a couple of little random wires left over, one for the sunroof and for the trans brake. So other than that, everything seems pretty sorted now. Probably next video, we'll probably go ahead and tackle some of these oil leaks, I think. I'll have to put it up during the week on a hoist, see what's going on, if it's the rear main or the sump and turbo drain. So we'll figure out what we need to do there, and that will probably be the next video. So unless I actually do take it out for a rip, either one, it'll be either a good drive video or something, or fixing some leaks. So hopefully get actually might be the IC7 install and building a mount for the keypad. So anyway, other than that, actually might even chuck back on the dyno, double check all the fueling. I'd rather check it on the street because whatever, it is what it is. It's just a bit of fueling, everything else is dialed in, but yeah. Thanks for watching guys, catch you on the next video.